Hello everyone, welcome to another video of this revision series. In this video, we will talk about shock. Shock is defined as a clinico-pathological state characterized by reduced effective circulatory volume leading to hypoperfusion. That simply means the amount of blood that is required by an organ or tissue is not delivered properly due to reduced circulatory volume. And there are various types of shock. We will discuss one by one and their pathogenesis. First, the hypovolemic shock. As the name suggests, there is hypovolemia due to fluid loss, and this may occur by hemorrhage or dehydration or by burn. And due to all these etiologies, there is decreased total circulatory volume and thereby reduced cardiac output causes reduced effective circulatory volume or hypoperfusion of the tissue, resulting into shock. Now, as we know that the most perfused organ in our body is kidney followed by brain. Hence, these two organs will suffer most, and there will be a neuroendocrine compensatory mechanisms from these two organs. Like as there is hypoperfusion of the renal tissue, there will be activation of the renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system. And similarly, in the brain, there is sympathetic discharge. Both these ultimately causes increased cardiac output, but it is to be remembered that it is a certain limit, because if this hypovolemia persists and no intervention is occurred, then this mechanism will not persist for a long time, as after a certain time, due to increased cardiac workload, heart will suffer from infarction and there will be reduced cardiac output also. And in the kidney, as there is activation of this RAS, there is increased ADH secretion and angiotensin 2 secretion, which causes vasoconstriction. Similarly, the increased aldosterone secretion causes fluid retention. ADH also causes fluid retention and thereby increased cardiac output occurs. Also, sympathetic discharge causes increased contractility of the heart, thereby increased cardiac output. Next, the pathogenesis of cardiogenic shock. There are various etiologies like severe cardiac failure, myocardial infarction, pericardial effusion. All these causes decreased cardiac output, causing reduced effective circulatory volume and thereby hypoperfusion of the tissue, resulting into shock. And there is also reduced coronary filling, causing decreased circulation to the myocardial tissue, and thereby cardiac output will also be reduced and making it a vicious cycle. Next, pathogenesis of anaphylactic shock. This is type 3 hypersensitive reaction, and there is two phase of sensitization followed by phase of shock. First, an antigen enters in the body, causes formation of IgE type of immunoglobulin. These IgE molecules bind mast cell and eosinophils through their Fc terminals. Like this is suppose a mast cell or eosinophil, and the antigen binds to the FAB terminal and Fc terminal binds with the mast cell or eosinophil. Next, these cells remain in the body and known as sensitized mast cell. These are sensitized mast cell. As there is entry of the same antigen for the second time, here starts the phase of shock. Like antigen binds to the surface IgE molecule of the mast cell or eosinophil, and there is antigen mediated dimerization of the surface immunoglobulin E. Like here is the mast cell which is sensitized already, and now when the antigen enters second time in the body, there is antigen mediated dimerization of the IgE antibody, and this causes a conformational change of the plasma membrane of the mast cell, resulting into entry of calcium in the cell, and there is release of various types of inflammatory mediators stored inside the mast cell like platelet activation factor, eotaxin, cytokines, eosinophilic factors, and most importantly histamine, which acting upon H1 receptors of various organs like respiratory tract, heart, skin or mucosa manifest the clinical features of anaphylactic shock. Like in the respiratory tract, it causes bronchoconstriction and laryngeal edema. In the heart, there is reduced cardiac output and reduced heart rate, which causes decreased effective circulatory volume, thereby hypoperfusion and shock. And in the mucosa or skin, there is urticarial rash, which is characteristic of anaphylactic reaction, and also angioedema. So this is the simplest version of anaphylactic shock. Next, septic shock. As the name suggests, there is some infection of body and resulting into shock. There is septicemia with some gram-negative organism, and the death of gram-negative organism causes release of bacterial endotoxin or lipidae. We know this is a characteristic features of the plasma membrane of gram-negative organisms. And this lipidae binds to the lipid binding protein present in plasma, which is transferred to the macrophage receptor, causes stimulation of TLR4. Synthesis and release of inflammatory cytokines from macrophage. This is the macrophage, and there is release of some cytokines like interleukin 1, TNF alpha, etc. And these cytokines ultimately mediate some fever or shock. Like as there is fever, it will cause extensive vasodilatation, thereby increased vascular permeability, and this permeability causes reduction in the effective circulatory volume inside the blood vessels, because as there is increased permeability, blood or fluid will leak into the interstitial space, and thereby there will be reduced effective circulatory volume to the viscera or hypoperfusion of the organs, resulting to the shock. Last, the pathogenesis of neurogenic shock. It is a special type of condition, like when there is injury to the spinal cord, especially in the thoracic or lumbar region, or there is head injury. This causes decreased sympathetic outflow to the blood vessels. We know in the blood vessels there is sympathetic innervation in the middle layer, which causes extensive vasodilatation and thereby reduced effective circulatory volume and hypoperfusion, resulting into shock. So this is all about various types of shocks and their pathogenesis. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please let me know in the comment section.